Do you think lions are scary? Wait until you find out about these monstrosities, from packs of hunting devils to birds that wreaked terror and giant dinosaurs that shook the earth. These animals would have wreaked havoc if they were alive today. Today, we will be discussing some of the most massive and scariest animals to have stepped foot on Earth. Rest assured, by the end, you will be glad that they do not exist anymore. So hang on tight and grab your bucket of popcorn. After the video, you will be grateful you were born in the right era. Let's get into it. Number 1. Titanoboa, the monstrous snake. When scientists unearthed the fossils of this snake, they couldn't move away from the site for days out of shock.
Many people cannot stand the image of a snake.
This animal is the Titanoboa, a snake as long as 45 feet and weighed over 2,000 pounds. Scientists estimate that its thickness was as big as a man's whole waist. The vertebrae of the Titanoboa are around 4 times the size of the vertebrae of the anaconda, the largest living snake today. This monster snake slithered quietly and lunged at the prey with full speed for a tight embrace that strangled the prey and left it out of breath. And its prey was not some ordinary fish. Its deadly embrace could bring down a giant turtle, a crocodile, or even a rhino. The snake was fully capable of crushing the bones to pieces once it strangled you. A force of about 400 psi while wrangling a prey is no joke. But the most astonishing find was its huge skull. Mostly the fossils of snakes do not leave a skull behind as it is delicate. The bones usually break. But the skull of the Titanoboa lay perfectly intact in shape underground when the scientists found it. This is certainly the king of snakes that no longer exists. Number 2. Arthr, the gigantic millipede. While a tiny millipede scares away a lot of people today, you would faint at the sight of this gigantic millipede that was here millions of years ago. You've seen the millipede now increase its size to a small-sized dog, and you would have an Arthr before you. It measured up to 20 inches and weighed over 100 pounds. Its weight was easily equal to that of a large-sized dog. This creepy crawly had more to it than just its size, though. It had segments and legs similar to the modern-day millipede, but its legs would have been visible from far. It could have had a fair brawl with a large amphibian back in the day. Although considered a herbivore, some scientists strongly believe that it ate more than just plants. The smaller invertebrates, like the amphibians, were often an unlucky target of these gigantic millipedes. I am so glad this thing went extinct. Number 3. Dinosus, the lurking crocodile. A Dinosus was a gigantic crocodile that was deadly enough to capture a dinosaur. The name roughly translates to the terrible crocodile, so you can imagine the wrath this animal must have back in the day. The crocodile measured up to 50 feet, although the fossils found are not very accurate. Scientists have been arguing over the actual size of the Dinosus, but it is safe to say it was well over 25 to 30 feet, and enough to scare you away in seconds. The scary thing about these crocodiles is that they were opportunistic predators. It would tear down any prey that comes near it, and they didn't show any mercy to dinosaurs either. The big ones could easily bring down a large dinosaur. The crocodile would lurk under the water, waiting for its prey to come near the shore. As soon as a poor victim would bow down to drink water, they would be met with the horrifying teeth of the Dinosus instead. With a big leap, the crocodile would bring its prey down under the water until it drowned. Then it would devour its meal in peace. Imagine early humans coming across this thing had it been alive then. Number 4. Megalodon, the largest fish. The biggest shark of the old days, this shark was the top predator of the ocean. You are not ready to hear its size. It was 3 times the size of the largest sharks that lurk in the ocean today. A shark alone is scary, but imagine one that is the size of a building. The big ones were well over 50 feet and weighed over 100,000 pounds. The Megalodon's size was not the only scary thing in the ocean. Their ferocious hunting technique was enough to gobble down large predators of today. Their teeth were quite similar to the teeth of sharks of this era, but they were significantly larger and thicker. An average shark's tooth is about 2.5 inches long, but the Megalodon had a piercing, sharp tooth nearly 7 inches long. If that isn't scary enough, it had a mouth as wide as 10 feet, and its jaw would open up to 3 feet. A bite that deadly would have left no victims safe. It is believed that the Megalodon was so huge that it would have to eat about 2,500 pounds each day to survive. That's a lot of food. Talking about its diet, the Megalodon would hunt down anything from a large whale, dolphins, seals, and even other smaller sharks. Now here is the twist. You see, a big part of the ocean remains unexplored. There are theories that the Megalodon still exists in the far depths of the ocean, lurking for its next prey. But it is very unlikely that a shark as big as 50 feet goes by unnoticed for years. What do you think? Is it still alive today? Number 5. Arctodus, the deadly bear. Widely called the short-faced bear, the Arctodus was not as cute as it appears. Imagine a deadly bear standing 10 feet tall on its hind feet. You would freeze in fear. Although this bear was not as bulky as the bears of this era, it stood as high as 10 feet tall and weighed more than 1,000 to 2,000 pounds. Arctodus was called the short-faced bear because of its smaller snout. It also had a relatively shorter body as compared to its legs. But that doesn't mean it was not a deadly predator. There are many theories about its diet. Some of them suggest that it gobbled up small bears if such animals were nearby. Other theories claim that the bear was a scavenger. It would wait for the animals to die or be tired out of a brawl between each other and then find its way towards the carcass. However, there is a large number of scientists that believe that the Arctodus was an omnivore. Who knows the kinds of food it would eat when it got hungry? But it sure is a big bear. Number 6. Forestrasidi, the terror birds. The flightless birds seem quite harmless today, but this one rained so much havoc that it came to be known as the terror birds. The Forestrasidi were one of the deadliest predators and the largest flightless bird to roam Earth. They somewhat resemble dinosaurs, having short wings and fewer feathers on their bodies. The short wings were the reason that they couldn't take flight, but that doesn't mean they weren't ferocious. The wings had sharp claws that they used to pin down the helpless prey. Standing around 9 feet tall, they weighed around 2,000 pounds. But the terror bird's massive size didn't stop it from running at a rapid speed. Scientists believe that it ran faster than a modern-day horse. One glance and the prey and the giant terror birds came running at full speed towards them. When we talk about their deadly nature, the list runs long. From their sharp beak with a pointed hook to their long legs and sharp claws, they were an absolute menace. The axe-like beak had such a humongous force behind it that the tip of the beak would pin inside the flesh of the prey like a sword. Some scientists believe that the terror bird was a scavenger, while others believe that they were carnivorous animals that hunted down prey smaller than its size. Humans wouldn't have stood a chance against these deadly birds for sure. Number 7. Spinosaurus, the largest carnivorous dinosaur. Consider all carnivores and then imagine the deadliest one you can find today. This terrifying dinosaur would beat them all. This gigantic dinosaur was longer than a T-Rex, standing tall with a height of 50 feet and weighing nearly 5,000 pounds. Calling it massive is a mere understatement of its size. Its skull alone was 6 feet long. With a head like a crocodile and tiny arms, it is the typical picture of a dinosaur. But the most attractive yet intimidating feature of this dinosaur was its hump-like spine. Scientists argue over its use, but most of them agree that it was used for thermoregulation. Some even relate it to a peacock's train rattling. As for its diet, there is not a clear consensus. Some of the theories suggest that the Spinosaurus was aquatic and would put its huge snout to hunt fish from the water. But there are other widely accepted theories claiming that the dinosaur was a terrestrial carnivore. Whatever its diet may be, nobody would want to be in front of this monstrosity. Number 8. Smilodon, the large-toothed tiger. A massive carnivore with fangs more frightening than that of a vampire, was one of the deadliest predators to walk around 1 million years ago. Despite it being called a tiger, Smilodon was nothing like one. It was more of a cat, but it probably does not sound as ferocious, unlike its very terrifying nature. So due to its huge fangs and hunting techniques, it was related a lot to a tiger. With a speed of 30 miles per hour, they would pounce on their prey with incredible prowess. Once the unfortunate victim was within range, the Smilodon would pounce and injure them with its huge fangs. Due to the loss of blood, the prey would ultimately die. Even though their fangs did serve as a weapon of strike, their use aside from that is still a big chunk of the puzzle. It may be unclear what the large fangs were used for, but it is no mystery that nobody would want to be on the wrong end of it. Number 9. Carnotaurus, the meat-eating dinosaur. Another monster from the dinosaur era was the Carnotaurus. The Carnotaurus was not very huge or bulky. It stood 20 feet tall and weighed around 5,000 pounds. It was covered in scales according to the skin impressions found by the paleontologists. Some scientists believe that the scales could have been a way to camouflage in its surroundings as it waited to hunt its prey. There has been only one skeleton unearthed of this species, which is why there is a lot of mysteriousness surrounding this strange dinosaur. A striking feature of this dinosaur was the horns on its head just behind its eyes. It appeared as the horns of bulls today. Some experts think that it was used as a weapon in battle, but that is just a theory. Nobody quite knows what they did and how they were used. A lot of things about the dinosaur remain a big question mark to this day, but it was definitely not one to mess with. Number 10. T-Rex. Now who can forget about the king of the dinosaurs? The T-Rex. It is one of the most renowned dinosaurs. Its height was around 12 feet, but it ranged up to 40 feet in length. The dinosaur was so huge that it weighed more than 12,000 pounds. That puts it on par with some of the largest African elephants that you can find. But its weight isn't the only scary thing about this dinosaur. Its malicious hunting tactic is quite terrifying to think about. The Tyrannosaurus was an active predator. Knowing about its hunting technique is enough to make you break a sweat. Its sharp, dagger-like teeth were blades that could easily tear down the flesh of the prey. Plus, the dinosaur had a joint in its jaw that worked as a shock absorber. If the prey struggled, the dinosaur's terrifying bite would hold it down without the dinosaur flinching a bit. There are a lot of theories about its speed in the wild. Some suggest that it was a fast runner, while other experts think it was quite slow in its chase of the prey. Its pace might range from 3 to 10 miles an hour. But the most interesting thing about T-Rex is that it had a brain twice the size of other dinosaurs' brains. It was far more intelligent, and experts suggest that it could use its sight and sense of smell much more smartly than other dinosaurs, and that made it even more deadly. Number 11, Josephosaurus, the giant rodent. Rats can be quite revolting, but imagine a rodent 10 times bigger roaming the streets. If Josephosaurus had survived, that would have been the case today. Around 10 feet long, this rodent weighed slightly more than 2,000 pounds. Its weight could easily be related to that of a cow. Like today's rats, they also had sharp and long teeth that could bite through nearly anything. Despite their huge fangs, they were herbivores and chewed on plants. Experts believe that the teeth were used for defense or as a way to dig down on roots. Some think it was used to fight over breeding rights. Since they lived around the same time as terror birds, the large teeth could have been used as a way to protect itself from being pinned down by the predators. They had a bite force of more than 900 pounds. That is 3 times more than the average bite force of a tiger today. That combined with its massive size is not a very reassuring sight. Another animal I am glad went extinct. Number 12. Deinonychus, the terrible claw. Another carnivorous dinosaur that would have created quite the havoc today is the Deinonychus. They were not very tall or bulky. With a length of only 8 feet and a mere weight of 150 pounds, they appear quite harmless. But they were the exact opposite of it. The dinosaur had many bird-like features like long arms and a wrist that could move sideways, allowing them to spread their front limbs. They were used to hold down the prey as they attacked it brutally. Plus, Many experts believe that it also had a feathered body. Due to such traits, many academics thought that birds descended from these Deinonychus. Another deadly feature of this dinosaur is that it was quick on its feet. It could climb up trees to escape its predators using its slender feet. Its tail was also flexible, unlike that of other dinosaurs, which may have been used as a weapon too. But its biggest weapon was the claw in its hind feet. The razor blade would pierce the flesh in seconds. The reason why they are considered vicious is because they attacked in packs. Imagine a horde of these swarming a huge dinosaur. They could easily tear down anything that comes in their way. Scientists believe that a group of these dinosaurs could bring down a dinosaur much bigger than themselves. Now that's a scary sight. Number 13. Velociraptor. The tiny troublemakers. You must have heard about the Velociraptor, but it is nowhere near the image shown on TV. Only 2 feet tall and 6 feet long, these animals might not appear harmful, but that's not true at all. Plus, it did not have lizard skin. Instead, it had feathers much like the birds do today. There are different theories on what the feathers were like on the body of a velociraptor. Some say that it was a small tuft of feathers like that of a chicken. Others say that the feathers were sported like that of a green parrot. Its appearance might not be known, but its ferocious nature is quite clear to the scientific community. Its biggest weapon it possessed is the 3-inch long claws that were like sharp blades. They pierced through the flesh of the prey and let them bleed, while the velociraptor waited for it to die. The claws can strike, pierce, and even pin down the prey. But the scarier part is that they hunted in packs. A herd of these fast-paced dinosaurs seemed quite threatening to even the biggest of animals today. Plus, they launch surprise attacks that give no time for the prey to recover. If these things were around today, we would be easy prey for them. Number 14. Gigantopithecus, the Bigfoot. We have all heard about Bigfoot. Many people think it is a myth, but what if it was a giant ape that went extinct? Known popularly for its dragon teeth, the giant ape had over 2,000 teeth. If that's the number of teeth in an animal, you can imagine how wide its jaw would be. It weighed a little over 600 pounds, but its size remains unknown. Only a bunch of teeth were found in the fossils, leading to a lot of speculation from the scientists. A wide number of experts believe that the Gigantopithecus was twice the size of a gorilla. Another theory claims that the animal had more resemblance to an orangutan rather than a gorilla. But the reason why it's dangerous is because of its massive size and deadly nature. The Gigantopithecus can easily become aggressive if it is provoked. Humans aren't very friendly either, so if humans lived alongside it, there would probably have been a lot of clashes. But if you believe another theory, it paints a different picture. Apparently, some people believe Gigantopithecus is not yet extinct. According to the theory, Gigantopithecus is actually Bigfoot. Wild, right? They claim that the animal exists to this day, hides in shadows, and is actually what Bigfoot would look like today. Apparently, the features of Gigantopithecus and Bigfoot match a lot. But what do you think? Is it possible? Number 15. Meura, the massive dragonfly. Meura is the largest insect to ever live. If that doesn't give you the creeps, this might. It was a carnivorous insect, so humans could be fair game for them. A striking feature of these dragonflies is the appendages on their bodies. Their real purpose is unknown to scientists and remains a big mystery to this day. Despite their massive bodies, they are light in weight. Experts believe that they were lighter than a beetle and only weighed a pound. They also had a pretty huge wingspan that stretched nearly 3 feet. That made them the largest insect in the world. Imagine one of these flying over you. If that isn't scary enough, these dragonflies had bulging eyes. One glance at them could send shivers down your spine. To add to their deadly nature, these giant insects were carnivores. They could eat up small amphibians like a frog and a toad, apart from other insects. Not something we want around, for sure. That's all on the deadliest animals that roamed the earth around thousands and millions of years ago. Which one of these animals would you the least want to encounter? Let us know in the comments and tell us if we missed any in our list. While you are at it, make sure to hit the like button. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We will be coming up with more exciting videos, and you'll be the first to know. Until the next video, goodbye, and thanks for watching.